Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samba sambuddhassa. This is the 7th discourse in this series on universal love. Meditation on universal love is the subject today. But this subject, now it belongs to the whole series, is based on the Karaniya Metta Sutta, the discourse of Bhagavan Buddha on universal love. How to cultivate universal love here and now under all circumstances and be transported in that dimension of sublime Brahma gods. The way the Brahma gods live, by practicing metta you live in the same way. That is the idea behind. So now this sutta is divided into three divisions. Metta as a sila, as a virtuous practice, metta as a meditative practice, and metta as a practice leading to the development of wisdom, and through wisdom to liberation from the bondage of worldly existence. Now, this sutta is a part of the Noble Eightfold Path, is the fourth Noble Truth. The Buddha's teachings, that is altogether 84 Dhamma skandhas, 84 techniques of spiritual evolution and spiritual freedom. All these teachings for 45 years can be summarized into the Four Noble Truths. The truth about the noble truth of suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path leading to the cessation of suffering. So, the Noble Eightfold Path leads to the cessation of all forms of suffering that one has to undergo in worldly existence, in any form of worldly existence. So now, Noble Eightfold Path can be divided into three divisions of Sila, Samadhi, Panya. That is, development and perfection of Shila, virtuous conduct, development and perfection of the mind by freeing the mind from all mental defilements and transporting the mind in the dimension of Samadhi, that is the supramental states of absorption, and development and perfection of wisdom leading to liberation from samsaric existence. So the Noble Eightfold Path with these three divisions are reflected in this particular sutta, that is the discourse of Bhagavan on universal love. I have already discussed in the previous discourses about the historical background of the sutta and particularly about the practice of metta as a virtuous conduct, sila. Today we will discuss about metta as a meditation. But before we start about metta as a meditation, there are certain questions. Number one, what exactly is the objective or purpose of practicing metta meditation? Number two, what are the necessary methods or the procedures required to successfully practice metta meditation? And number three, how do we start the practice of metta meditation, or rather successful practice of metta meditation? Now, Metta, the objective, the only objective of metta meditation is given in the sutta itself, where it says, may all beings be happy. Sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. And in sabbe satta, in all beings, in all sentient beings, we are also within that. So if you have to promote the well-being and happiness of all sentient beings, you have to start promoting it with your own life. So, the objective being the promotion of happiness and well-being of all. This is possible. Now we live in a world of interdependence. Everything works in this world on the basis of the principle of reciprocity, interdependence. That is why the true happiness of one depends upon the happiness of all, and unhappiness of all depends upon the happiness of one. This is a profound truth, and it cannot be avoided. You can see that in the context of global economy or global life. Anything happening somewhere else, however distant it may be, it affects the life of all, everywhere. So metta, in keeping with this basic principle of interdependence, metta has to be the objective or the purpose of metta, which is promoting happiness and well-being of all, will have to follow this particular principle of interdependence. So, as to the procedures required, there are three distinct procedures. Number one, metta to be practiced person-wise, that is person to person. And then metta to be practiced as an impersonal practice. In an impersonal way you develop universal love. Just as in the first, in a personal way, person to person, you develop universal love. So the second, impersonal way. And there also it is again divided into two. Impersonal in terms of, let us say, spheres of existence. You start, let us say here in Bangalore, you say, all right, may all those beings who are here in Maha Bodhi society, may they all be happy. So area-wise, this little bit of area. Then you extend this to encompass the whole of Bangalore city, whole of the state of Karnataka, the whole of South India, the whole of India, and so on, the entire planet. Area-wise, in an impersonal way, you radiate thoughts of metta and cultivate thus universal love. Then the other impersonal way is groups of sentient beings. Say, may all human beings be happy. May all animals be happy, etc. May all devas be happy. In this way, in terms of beings, sentient beings. So this is the second form of practice, second procedure or method of practicing meditation, metta meditation. The third is the universalization of this, to make this metta universally applicable. Now, so this in this threefold way, step by step, one cultivates the practice of universal love. Now the third question is how to start. One starts the practice of metta meditation beginning with oneself. Unless one is happy, one enjoys a certain well-being, both inner and external, the question of promoting the other's well-being does not arise. So metta starts with oneself. You have to have universal love, you have to cultivate loving kindness on yourself, beginning with yourself. How? Now, this is a very big question. It has to be understood in so many ways. Now, when you are promoting your own well-being, you have to know what are the opponents of the well-being. What are those factors that come on the way to my enjoying happiness and well-being? Now, once we know the opponents, then we know how to overcome those opponents and then how to be happy in the real sense of the term. So now metta, there are two opponents of metta. One is a direct opponent in the form of hate, aversion, anger, dislike, antipathy, and these negative emotions. This is the opponent in a direct way, and you have to make a frontal attack on these mental states, negativities. The other is very subtle. That's why it's called near enemy. It puts on a garb and you can never find it. It puts on the garb of love and so on, but actually behind it is attachment and sensual attraction. So one has to be very careful about this also, otherwise it will subvert the practice of metta meditation. Before I go further, I would like to recall a story which I narrated in the last discourse. In order to practice metta, we said we must start with oneself. And how valid this is will be clear from this particular story. Now I mentioned that in Bangladesh, in Chittagong, in the most eastern part of our, the subcontinent, there is a community called Chakmas. They are Buddhists from a long, long time, and they have preserved the tradition of Buddhism up to our time, in an unbroken way. So there is a very great saint, a Arhat among them now, known as Bhante, a forest dweller Bhante. He is very widely known, and people, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people visit him every day from all parts of the world. So, while reading his life story, I got a copy of it from somebody from the Taiwan, and it is written in Bengali because they speak Bengali language there. I went through this particular story. It seems Bhante had told a man was suffering very much from a lot of anger and hatred, and he had decided to kill somebody because of this. Now this man happened to be a bank employee, a bank clerk. Now he was appointed by his manager, and both of them had known each other before, and they were quite friendly before. But then this clerk became a very, very greedy person, and he was corrupt. He made money in all kinds of ways, and the result was that his services had to be terminated. So the manager could not help, though he didn't like at all to do that, but he was compelled to do away with his service. Now when he was sent away from the bank, he became so furious and so angry and happy. He never thought of the evil practices that has led to this kind of situation. He never thought of that. He never thought that he has done all these evil deeds. He has broken the code of Panchashila, or the virtuous conduct that is that every Buddhist must practice, the minimum being the Panchashila, the 5 principles. So he had been violating all the Panchashila. in all kinds of ways, resulting in his loss of job. But he never thought about that. He became very angry with the manager, saying that, oh, he has deprived me of my livelihood, I shall kill him. Once he harbored this thought of killing, murdering somebody, which a practitioner of Dhamma should never have in the mind. It is directly opposed to all the teachings of Bhagavan Buddha. But he harbored. He said, yes, I am going to finish him. And not only he harbored, he told this to several people. And all these several people that he knew, his friends and others, they said, no, you can't do that. See, you can't break your principle of panatipata veramani. That's evil, that's horrible evil. You will land yourself, you see, in the hell. So don't do that. So, but he didn't care. He went on saying, yes, I'm going to do that. You can go and actually tell that fellow that I'm going to kill him. And some people went and they did tell him. But he said, well, what can I do? I have done my duty. I have no hatred towards him. I feel very sorry for him. But I am helpless. He is totally out of control. He is very greedy, very hateful, very corrupt, immoral, and drinking like hell all the time. And he is very incompetent in his work. What can I do? So anyway, this friend who somehow knew both of them, he went to Bhante and told about this man, that he wants to murder and all that. Bhante had come to know about it earlier. So he said, call him. So he was taken to Bhante. Bhante had given him, he said, don't do all that, this is very horrible. A person who is following the path of Buddha Dhamma should never do that. So you don't do it, and instead I will give you a method of meditation, you practice it. So he gave him a method of meditation, that metta meditation. This man went on trying to practice meditation day in, day out, very, very seriously. He went to the local temple with all his friends, and all of them practicing metta meditation. So but then, he just couldn't make any headway at all. He couldn't progress 1 inch on the path of metta. The hateful thoughts that somebody has wronged, he has done me this, he has done me that, simply overwhelmed his mind. And every time he tried to practice, he just failed. So he told his friend, said, no, this kind of thing will not do. I'm going to finish him anyway. So this friend again went to Bhante and said, this is what he tells. He says he can't practice. He has been trying day and night. So Bhante knew. He said, yes. He has to start the metta with himself. And that is just what he has not done. Call him. So he was again brought before Bhante. And then he said, look, you are not able to practice. He said, no, Bhante, I tried my best, but it's not working at all. So very good, I will give you one method, you have to try this way. You first of all imagine yourself very cheerful, very happy. Imagine that you have this very sunny, happy outlook in life. And you are all the time cheerful and happy. Nothing else in the world can deprive you of your happiness. Just imagine yourself smiling all the time. Come what may. And then you will find that something is coming on the way. That though you try to be happy, cheerful, talk to everybody nicely and smile and don't abuse anybody, and remain smiling and all that, still something in the inside very deep is working, and he can't remain. He feigned for some time to be very happy, but no. He will fall into a state of remorse, guilt, and depressed. And he didn't know why all this. Again he went and he said, look here, you have been violating in the first place your Sila. So once you violate the Sila, there is no question of your having a sunny outlook and be very happy and enjoy well-being. No. You will suffer from guilt. Anutapa paschatapa. Therefore, first of all, do one thing. Keep on telling, may I be happy by not harboring any hateful thought. May I be happy by not harboring any thought of ill will, any thought of dislike, any kind of prejudice, any finding fault. May all those negativities pass away from me. And when they pass away, may I be very happy, enjoy well-being and remain cheerful all the time. So, when he was instructed this way, he tried that. And he succeeded. Because he recalled all the horrible things he has done. And instead of punishing him by harboring remorse or guilt, that is nothing but self-punishment. When you suffer from anutapa paschatapa, from remorse, sense of guilt, which is bound to come when you do something that is bad, when you violate the principles of morality, such as the thought of killing or stealing or immoral life or telling lies all the time or cheating people or drinking, all kinds of, these are factors that affect the mind profoundly, and you can never have a sunny outlook in life. You are bound to remain depressed and unhappy, harboring sense of guilt, and you don't know why you are unhappy. That is the worst part of it. So once you know and you make sure that you are going to remove all these negativities from your mind and make up your mind that you will maintain a happy mood, smiling, and a very cheerful outlook in life. Once you do that, then you will see you are able to practice the Sila also very thoroughly. In other words, you have to be absolutely honest to yourself. You have to be absolutely upright, straight. Unless you practice metta in your day-to-day life by way of not killing, but promoting the well-being of all life, by way of not stealing or depriving anybody of anything, but be generous and dana, practice dana, by being very, maintaining family values and not indulge in sexual immorality, sexual misconduct of any kind, or sticking to truth all the time, never telling lie, or indulge in drinking and all that. Right? Once you make up your mind and practice, your mind will be completely free from any of, even the last vestige of guilt, sense of guilt, or remorse, anutapa paschatapa. So once the mind is guilt-free and absolutely freed from remorse, etc., automatically you become happy. When you say, may I be happy by not harboring enmity towards anybody, by not disliking anybody, finding fault with anybody, none of these negative attitudes, but may I be happy by being friendly, by harboring goodwill all the time, by being generous and noble, not mean, not, jealous, but if somebody is successful, be very happy at that. So may I have all these virtues and this kind of positive outlook in life all the time and enjoy well-being and happiness. In other words, for happiness to prevail, it is absolutely necessary that the causes of happiness and the causes of unhappiness should be understood. If you want to be happy, promote the causes, those necessary conditions which bring about happiness. Namely, follow the Metta Shila, at least the Pancha Shila. Follow and the attitude that harbor no hatred, no enmity, no dislike, none of these negative attitudes. Once you cultivate this kind of positive attitudes, then metta becomes automatic. You don't even need to promote. It will happen. It will just come. So I gave you the example of this man, and this is a true story. That you cannot practice metta unless you have metta on yourself. And to have metta on yourself, promoting happiness, your own happiness, promoting your own well-being, your inner well-being and happiness. Unless you do that, how can you be happy and well-being in your family life, in your social life, in your, life with others? It's just not possible. An unhappy man spreads depression everywhere, wherever he goes, spreads sadness and negative conditions. But a happy man spreads cheer, happiness, well-being, everywhere, wherever he or she goes. So at least having this in mind, you keep on promoting your happiness and your well-being in the form of, so that may all beings be happy, may I also be happy. This kind of philosophy of life, where you build up your inner happiness and well-being by way of living a very clean, pure life, a straightforward, honest life, and having good company, practicing the Sila, and be generous under all circumstances. Once you do this, metta on yourself becomes automatic, effortless. Now this is with reference to practicing metta on oneself. And you start the practice of metta only with yourself. There is no other go. So now we pick up the next point, namely the procedure number 1. I have made it clear that the objective of metta meditation is to promote happiness and well-being of all beings, regardless of any region, any sex, any difference whatsoever. To be able to do that, it starts with oneself. We have to be really happy by freeing the mind of all those conditions that bring unhappiness. A violent man can never be happy. An angry man, finding fault with the whole world in the name of doing social work and whatnot, can never be happy. A greedy man, cheating others, depriving others, no question of happiness. So to be happy, we have to be free from all these negativities, mental defilements, by practicing Sila and by contemplating on one's own, inner happiness and all, and peace. So once you do that and you see you are happy and cheerful, then you take up the procedure of practicing metta person by person. Therefore it is said, Start with yourself. Imagine, in metta meditation, two things are required. Number one, visualization. You visualize your own face, very cheerful, happy, radiant with the thoughts of love, and no sadness, no depression, no negative attitude. So, when you imagine yourself in this way, and you say, I will remain like this under all circumstances, come what may. Let the sky fall on the head, it doesn't matter. I will remain cheerful and happy under all circumstances. Let nothing in the world deprive me of a sunny outlook in my life, of a positive outlook, of being happy and therefore make everybody happy. That is the positive outlook. Now once we have this as a philosophy of life and we cultivate this day in, day out under all circumstances, how can you be unhappy? And if you are not unhappy, you are bound to be happy. And when you are bound to be happy, you are bound to also spread happiness wherever you go. This is the simple fact of truth. This is the simple reality about this practice. Now, with reference to person by person radiation of the thought, now once you do that on yourself, let us say a couple of minutes or whatever for some time, and you, as soon as you feel very cheerful, very happy, full of joy, nothing can deprive you of that joy. Then look at your guru, the people who will have to be respected because you have learned it from somebody. Unless you have gratitude, no question of progressing on the spiritual path. You can't progress 1 inch on the spiritual path unless you have gratitude. To be grateful, to be thankful is a sign of a Satpurusha, of a good man, noble man. And a spiritual man should be a good man, a noble man. So, you first of all recall the teachers from whom you have learned these things, the venerable teachers, the monks. Then, this is the category of people who are to be respected and who are to be remembered with gratitude. First, your guru or spiritual teachers or the other monks, holy people, holy men. And then start with your own father and mother. Parents are to be respected under all circumstances if you have to spiritually develop. Whether you are a layman or a monk, parents are parents and they are to be respected. Lord Buddha himself practiced this. In the last moment when King Suddhodana was very, very ill, he thought of Lord Buddha. The Buddha was in Vaishali, several hundred miles away. Immediately he picked up the message through his supernormal powers and just flew. It is said, as you stretch your hand, as fast as that he went to where the king was, gave a discourse and brought about a great deal of spiritual joy and happiness leading to final transformation. And the father, who was an anagami already, he became an arhat. The only in lay life, the account we have in Tripitaka. And then within 7 days he passed away, full of joy and full of happiness. On his deathbed he received all this. Now this is gratitude. The same thing happened with his mother. So unless we have real gratitude for the parents and we serve them as best we can, you make money and forget the parents. Go and eat in all these fancy hotels hotels and the parents are having nothing to eat. Now you are creating a path to hell. That is where you will go. That is the plain fact. So, unless we cultivate this, if we don't have real regard for the parents for whatever reason, we must cultivate it. And we must forgive the parents for whatever mistake they have done. You need forgiveness from others. You make a lot of mistakes. So why judge others all the time negatively? Learn to forgive and forget and love your parents. So see them in a very happy mood, cheerful mood, and say, may my father be happy, may my mother be happy. And this way you spread the thought, you radiate the thought of love towards your parents wherever they are. By focusing your attention on your parents, now with visualization and then projection of thought of metta. These are the two elements. So you visualize them, first of all, wherever they are, whether say in one place or in different places, and then project this thought of love on them. Thought is a force, is a power. Metta thought is immensely powerful indeed. Because my metta thought is powerful, it can become immeasurable, a pramana, that which has become boundless. It can become immeasurable and boundless, all-embracing, because it's a very powerful thought. So when you project this powerful thought on the parents and genuinely forget all differences, just see the good points. Think how your mother brought you up. You did all kinds of things on her hand. You defecated on her hand, urinated on her hand, but she never took it in a bad way. She cleansed you up and brought you up as though you are a piece of gold. Never forget that. So, service to mother and father, the best way is to practice meditation on metta meditation on parents. If they are sick, wish that they may be free from sickness. If they are poor, wish that their poverty may go, and be generous. Give them. Try to remove their poverty and their unhappiness. So this way you promote the well-being of your parents. Then all your relatives, near and dear ones, do all that you can do. That is why in Mangala Sutta, first of all it is said, Mata pitu upattanam puttadarasya sangaho anakula cha kammanta etang mangalam uttamang. You see, to look after parents and to support family, you see, and lead a very clean, pure life, this brings the greatest happiness and in the form of blessing. And not only that, dhanam cha dhamma charya cha, lead a pure life of virtue. A moral purity is absolutely essential. Life of virtue, dhamma charya, and then be generous to all your relatives, to everybody, regardless of whatever they say and do and all that. So once you do that, that is metta, and that brings great happiness, great blessings. So you extend this further from parents to all your near and dear kith and kin, blood relatives. Then further spread to all the relatives, everywhere, wherever you can remember, even distant relatives. Think that they are close to you, your own dear and near ones. And so spread on your own relatives, near and dear ones. If you happen to hate them for some reason, become aware of this hate. So at the beginning, you say, no, I have got a lot of hate, lot of this, so let me take up somebody else, and then I will do on my relatives later. So you then take up your friends. Imagine your friends in their houses, you see, and wish them the same way. See them smiling, happy, cheerful. If there are any difficulty in them, wish that those difficulties be over. If they are in difficulty, if you can do them any good, do that. Metta goes with dana, with generous mind and generous practice. So, do all that with your relatives and then do the same thing with your friends. And after you have done that with the friends, now it will be the neutral people, the strangers, people whom you don't know. Or let us say you start with people who are your neighbors, or you have different give and take relationships with, let us say, people. You go to, you buy things in the market from somebody, or you have a dealing with the barber, you have a dealing with a doctor, you have a dealing with different categories of professionals and other people. Imagine all of them. And then see all of them in a radiant, happy mood and wish them well. See, they promote their well-being with powerful thoughts of love. Promote their good in every possible with powerful thoughts of love. So may they be happy, may their families be happy, may they all enjoy peace of mind and happiness and be free from suffering of any kind. So as you spread now, your thought becomes wider and wider and wider, and therefore more powerful as ever. So you start with yourself, then with your gurus, a teacher, and spiritual people, or monks and so on, your other teachers also, whom we have learned, and then your parents, your relatives, your near and kith and kin, your near and dear ones, then your relatives, then others with whom you have dealings in day-to-day life, people with whom you work in the office or elsewhere. You see, with them also you have the same attitude. You spread the same thing with them. Then a stranger that you don't know. Even to those people, you must have the same attitude of metta, wishing them well-being and happiness. Wish that they be free from all those factors that deprive them of the happiness. Now, it has to be kept in mind very clearly. If we are promoting somebody else's happiness, we must also be aware that happiness can come only when certain necessary conditions for happiness to prevail. So when you are wishing happiness, also wish that those causes, those requirements, those necessary conditions required for them to be happy also be there. If a person is sick and you wish him happiness, no, it won't work unless you say, may his sickness go. Or if he is leading an immoral, wretched life, metta will not work unless you say, may he be free from all that. May he lead a clean life, good life. May, if he is an angry fellow all the time or hateful, if you do metta, it won't work unless you say, oh, may he be free from this hatred and all that sort of thing. May he really enjoy happiness and enjoy, so that all these negativities may pass away from him. So in metta, two things are happening. On one hand, you are promoting well-being and happiness. On the other, you are promoting all those negative things to be removed, to be done away with. So promoting metta also means removal of those factors which come on the way to metta. This must be understood. So, from all the neutral people, even extend to those who you hate or those who hate you, whether personally or in a communal way. Say, if your community happens to be something and the other community something, and there is no goodwill between the two, there is likely to be prejudice. So you say, no, 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 I will not have any prejudice. I wish everybody happy. Even the enemy, even the worst fellow on earth, may he be freed from all those bad qualities that makes him what he is, and may he be free from all those and enjoy happiness and well-being. Now this is a very profound spiritual factor if you really go deeply into it. Today I shall deal only up to this. This is a person-to-person wise. It's a very limited way of practicing metta. But this is how it must be started. There is no question of unlimited, all-embracing radiation of metta unless you start with this limited way. With this I conclude. May the grace of Bhagavan Buddha surround your lives with metta, with universal love. May you all enjoy happiness and peace within. May you all be happy. Sukhino bhavantu.